In today's video, we are trying out a slightly different camera angle as we put a few more rounds to our P-09C Nocturne. We are going to do our Nocturne at the left-hand target, and then again, for comparison's sake, I brought along a P-01 this time, a CZ P-01, which was my old zombie shooting gun that will do a few rounds at our right-hand target. Let me check target cam real quick. Target cam is rolling. Hopefully I'm not covering up target cam. If so, we'll make do. 10 rounds in all of our magazines today. Again, you can thank Monk for the round numbers. Here we go. First shot will be double action. We might do a few practices of the double action to single action transition on this first magazine. Here we go. Okay, this will probably be our last practice ones. Not a bad group out there for considering some of those were double action-ish trigger pulls. First one of this will be double action. The next 9 will all be single action. Here we go. Okay, we're a little to the left, which I think means too little trigger finger. I gotta supersize my trigger finger, apparently. Let's do 2 magazines now with a P-01. This is my old zombie shoot gun. Not that the zombie shoots don't happen, but just that the group that I used to zombie shoot with, it no longer exists, unfortunately. We'll do the first shot, double action. Next 9 will be single action. Here we go. Right hand target. Let me shift this around a little bit. I could tell right off I was going to do too little trigger finger. Okay, the benefit of recognizing too little trigger finger right off this bat enabled me to shoot a little better group with the P-01 right from the start. Though our double action trigger pull, very unspectacular. Let's do that one more time. Here we go. Now, I don't know if it'll show up on camera. Wow, that's an ICU consistent group out there. On the second or third shot, something came back and hit me just off the side of my nose, between my nose and my eyeball on my glasses. We'll have to see if that shows on the camera or not. Man, the P-01 kicking arse today. Though we might have put the double action shot way to the right in the top right corner, almost off the target. But the single action shots, that's a consistent group out there. We'll reload and mostly shoot the P-09 now. Let's now do a couple magazines of personal protection home defense ammunition. I'm going to fire a full 15-round magazine of each of the ammos for home defense personal protection that we are going to briefly test today, starting with Sierra Outdoor Master 115 grain full metal jacket. This one I will shoot at our top left-hand corner target. Yeah, a little lanyard loop there kind of gets in the way of doing the whammy to load your magazine. We'll just do all of these single action. Here we go. Top left-hand target. We'll have to review target cam, though from back here it looks like all of our hits are at least in the target square, with a few below the bullseye and a few a little above the bullseye. Our next 15 rounds are going to be Hornady American Gunner, also 115 grain. This has the XTP projectile. I almost called it the FTX projectile again. 15 rounds again at our bottom left-hand target. One of the things I like about Hornady ammo in general is in their, at least their self-defense ammo, where most companies give you 20 rounds in a box, Hornady 25. First shot here will be double action because I already dropped the hammer. Here we go. Okay, we're a smidge left, but again, it looks like all of our hits are in our target zone. We might have a few hits touching the bullseye. Good reliability. Let's move on. We have two more defensive ammos we're going to test here. The next up on the block is going to be the Winchester Silvertip. This is a 115 grain jacketed hollow point projectile. This one I will do at the bottom right corner of our left-hand target. They call it defensive jacketed hollow point. Want to make sure I got that right. Actually, we're going to do all these single action. Here we go. Bottom right-hand corner. Okay, some of those are a little bit high. maybe starting to go a little bit outside of our target zone. I also noticed, at least compared to all the other ammo that we've shot so far today, that ammo had the most felt recoil. For our last ammo that we're going to test now is the Norma monolithic hollow point. This is a 108 grain projectile, which will be the lightest projectile that we have fired out of this pistol so far. Bottom left-hand target of our right-hand target. These will also all be single action. Here we go. The first shot, if I saw that correct, I think was a little high, which is just me, not the ammo. Though the next 14 looked to be a smidge left of the bullseye, some touching the bullseye. Maybe the tightest group of all the ammo that we've shot today. Now that we have approximately 500 rounds through the P-09C Nocturne, I'm calling our pistol broken in. Across those 500 rounds, the range ammo we've fired so far is Remington UMC, MagTech, CCI Blazer, and rounds from the famous Bucket o' Random Bullets. 100-ish of the 500 rounds we fired so far are from self-defense ammo, Sierra Outdoor Master 115 grain jacketed hollow point, Hornady American Gunner 115 grain XTP, Winchester Silvertip 115 grain defensive jacketed hollow point, and Norma monolithic hollow point 108 grain. We had 0 failures in our brief self-defense ammo tests. We did have 2 failures in our range ammo test during the break-in period, both of which were failures to feed. The failures to feed happened at random intervals on different days, where it was a little chilly out. I chalk both up to being cold hands failures, aka limp wrist failures. Since paying attention to making sure I wasn't getting too relaxed with my grip, we haven't had another failure. Across these now 500 rounds, I'm calling my P-09C reliable enough such that in the next video you see this firearm in, it will have the Holosun 507K attached to it, so we can see how it performs with a micro red dot. If the wheels fall off, we at least now have a baseline to say, without one attached, the firearm functions well. Before we get into our final thoughts in today's video, let's first flash back to a previous range trip where we put a couple magazines through the CZ75 SP01 Phantom. All right, let's fire at our right-hand target. This is going to be with the 2nd gen Phantom. I think there's 10-ish rounds in these magazines, though I'm not 100% sure of the count. It's been a while since I loaded them. Here we go. Group from our Phantom today is on point. I think the second magazine has MagTech in it. I think that first mag was Blazer aluminum. Okay. Phantom showing up well today. Let's reload. We'll put some more hits in our targets. Earlier in today's video, we shot a couple mags through the P-01 Omega, and just now the Phantom, to give a little comparison between these three popular CZ pistols. One very noticeable difference between all three were the holes on paper results. With both the P-01 and the Phantom, my groups were more precise and better centered on the target. The difference in the group precision, in my opinion, comes down mostly to the triggers. Both my P-01 and my Phantom have trigger pulls that are around 2 pounds lighter all the way around. As I said in our first range report, to me, 2 pounds makes a world of difference in terms of trigger pull weight. Some of that difference is likely the difference in springs over the years, along with having many more rounds through those pistols compared to what we have through this P-09C. As far as the groups being a little left of center, initially I chalked that up to me. However, after these 500 rounds and seeing that persist, along with putting a bore sight on the pistol while getting ready for the Holosun tests, I'm now in the boat that says my front sight needed to be drifted a smidge to the right. I've since used my sight pusher and moved the front sight a fractional amount, and we'll see if that makes any difference during our next range trip. Comparing the other differences between the P-09C, the P-01 Omega, and the Phantom, and the P-09C is the lightest of the three by approximately 3 ounces. I find that 3 ounces of difference accounts for a slight difference in recoil compared to the others. I also prefer the more rounded trigger style of the Phantom and the P-07 Duty compared to the more flat-faced trigger of the P-09C and my P-01 Omega. All three of these pistols have different sights. Had I not put different sights on the Phantom, they'd be more similar to what are on the P-09C, though it is worth noting that the fiber optic target sights on my Phantom also account for some of the better holes on paper results we saw in today's video. One other notable difference between these three firearms is the metal grip frame of the P-01 Omega allows for the use of different grip panels. I obviously don't have the stock grips on my P-01. The grips I have on it are zombie shooting grips, a set of palm swell bogeys from Loke Grips. Those grips make it a little fatter in the hand than it otherwise would be. One nice thing about many CZ pistols, including this P-09C, are they are highly customizable. The P-01 we saw in today's video has some custom grips, while the Phantom has a set of fiber optic target sights in a style I prefer. Unfortunately, due to YouTube monetization rules, we can't dive into that customization pool much more than we already have. Other than adding a Holosun sight and maybe putting on some tritium sights in the future, That's the extent of the customization we will do to this P-09C. YouTube is very anti-modification. Outside of YouTube, there are many tweaks that can be done to CZ pistols to tailor their performance to match a user's preference, from changing recoil and hammer springs to swapping triggers and slide stops, and many other parts. If you're someone who plans on such a customization, keep in mind many changes usually have a cost associated with them besides the monetary one. For example, swapping to a different recoil spring may lead to additional stress on your slide stop, and that slide stop could break sooner than it otherwise would. Lighter weight hammer springs may cause light primer strikes, unless other changes are also made, etc. Competition shooters in particular will heavily customize these pistols, though many of those shooters will also use custom reloaded ammo with primers, powder chargers, and projectiles to match their pistol setup. The factory setup of the P-09C is such that it enables it to function with a wide range of ammo. As a result, some may find it doesn't suit their competition preferences. Overall, after 500-ish rounds, I've been very happy with the P-09C Nocturne. So far, the pistol has been reliable and a precise shooter. The sights are easy enough to see, which persists even after having the micro red dot attached. The trigger is a little more demanding than I'd like, but it is certainly functional. Well, anyway, that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you're looking forward to seeing how this P-09C Nocturne performs with that hollow sun attached, let us know in the comments. Fred and I are glad you made it this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.